Historic occasion, first time S, Hallett, Hepburn and Freeman have all been on the same gig for 25 years. David Hallett's been asking me to come back for a little while. I said I would, and he said, I can't pay you. And I thought that's bloody typical, but he said he would pay me travel money. So I get here and he gives me $5.70. Do you think I came here on a fucking moped? You know, I've got a magistrate car, mate. That'll get me from here to the bush factory, maybe. You know, I was devastated by the election. I haven't been doing much since then. I read every single survey. I followed all the pundits. I even started looking at the bookies, and I was absolutely convinced that the next Prime Minister of Australia was going to be Michael Balderstone. Nimbin was going to be the new Canberra. Well, we've already got an embassy quarter. We've got a museum section, sort of. We've got laneway culture of a type. So I thought that it would be, there was going to be a minister for hemp, a minister for microdosing, a minister for medicinal cannabis. Harry Freeman was going to be the minister for pills. It was just going to be fantastic. I was going to be the minister for everything else. And then Scott Morrison blew it. I was absolutely devastated. Anyway, maybe next election that'll happen. I was reminded, I was driving out here past Coffee Camp. I used to represent a lot of people charged with very big crops. And they'd come and see me and they'd go, Dave, you know, I've been busted again. I'm already on a good behaviour bond. What am I going to do? I worked out a 2-phase process for keeping them out of jail. Phase 1, blame the girlfriend. The girlfriend would come in and she'd sign a statement saying it was all mine. I grew the whole lot. He had nothing to do with it. We'd take that to the police station. They didn't care. They'd charge the girlfriend. Phase 1. Phase 2, girlfriend gets pregnant. But David, I've already got 6 kids. Too bad. This will be number 7. And there we'd go before the district court. Pregnant, 6 months, and I'd start talking about dingoes and babies and taking them off them when they go to jail and how terrible it would be. 14 times in a row, nobody went to jail. It was a fantastic tactic. But I have to say now, when I see pregnant women in front of me with crops, I do have just a slight suspicion that something's going on. It did lead to a bit of tension in my marriage, I have to say, because I'd be walking around the Shannon Market and someone would come up with a bunch of kids and they'd go, you're responsible for little Eddie Marbo here, or Crystal Possum. And Maria would look at me a little strangely, but I think she understood in time. I've got another example. I've got to read this bit of transcript from just 2 weeks ago in Lismore local court. This woman was saying, no, I didn't grow the crop. My boarder grew it, you know, the boarder that I had living there. How long has he been living there? Oh, about 6 months. Was he living in your house? Yes. Was he staying in your room? Yes. Were you sleeping in the same bed? Yes. Were you intimate? Yes. For all of that 6 months? Yes. And what was his name? I never got his name, but he was a Sagittarian. Only in Nimbin do you get that. I go to Sydney and I tell my colleagues that and they just don't believe me. That's truly the transcript. I'm going to frame that piece of transcript up on my wall. Anyway, coming back here always reminds me, of course, of the times that Hallett and S and I would tour. And we toured for a long time. Jenny Dell, who's here, was our manager. And we toured doing stand-up poetry and comedy. And we would go to Woodford regularly. And I developed a system whereby we would get a tent space all to ourselves in the performers area. And I just wanted to share that with you. So we arrive. And pitching the tent, I don't know about pitching the tent with your family, but with my family it normally involved violence, swearing, hold the fucking pole, will you, you know, etc., etc. Anyway, we arrived at this spot. On the one side there was a feral couple in a teepee with bamboo and tarpaulin and tit rings and neck rings and tattoos. On the other side was this incredibly anal retentive looking tent with a fake grass and a garden and all the rest of it outside. And I thought, well, we'll just pitch between these two. We had our normal swearing session of putting up the tent. when it was finally up, the TP people didn't worry. They just had their little fire and they were ignoring us. She came out of a tent and looked and said, "That's swearing. You disgust me." I thought, fine, go back to your tent, silly cow. So back she went. I went and did the gig. Was finished very late. Came back. Maria was asleep. Kids were shoved off in some corner somewhere. I'm lying in bed thinking, okay, go to sleep, go to sleep. It was a great gig. I was better than S, better than Hallett, blah, blah. And the Ferrell couple came home. And they must have been at the chai tent warming up because they were into it. Immediately, hot, wet, noisy, passionate sex about that far from my ear. There was like my tent, their tarp, and then having passionate, hot, noisy sex. And I'm thinking, just hurry up. How long can this go on for? There's no way I'm going to sleep with this going on. No, come on, hurry up. They're getting louder and more passionate and everything's going on. And then Maria sits up, awake, and says, "David." I said, "Yes." She goes, "Are we having sex?" "No," I say, perhaps slightly too loudly. She goes straight back to sleep, and there is dead silence next door. Not even the sound of disengagement is a sound at all. I'm lying there waiting for like finish or something. I can hear absolutely nothing in the tent next door. And eventually I go to sleep. I get up in the morning and I think, this will be good. I look out straight to the teepee and they're gone. They have packed up the whole lot, the bamboo, the four-wheel drive, all gone. I look out the other side and there's the woman standing there with her hands on her hips. "You disgust me." I said to a lady, when we come to Woodford, as a family, we do everything together. She packed up her tent too. And that is how you get a camping site at Woodford to yourself. So I'm giving up my day job soon. And it's going to be a bit of a shame because it's the best comedy gig in the world. When I make a little joke, they all laugh. Especially defendants. Heartily, loudly. It's amazing. You've been a much better audience than them. Thank you very much. Good night.